Hello, everybody. It's the Three Amiibros. I'm Daniel,
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Will.
and we are going to be starting a new playthrough of a game that I like a lot, which is DmC Devil May Cry, a very poorly named game, but a cool game anyways.
It's okay. Well, yeah, I actually started playing this recently because you said you wanted to do this, and I was just like, I've had that on Steam for ages, and I just have not touched it. Let's go play this. So
Yeah.
I'm sort of familiar with it.
How much of it have you played through?
I've gotten I think I'm about halfway through the news station.
Okay. Oh, so
So
you're
you should-
that's fairly far through the game, I think, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Well, it's not.
but yeah.
It's not really a long game. At
No,
least not.
I mean, none of the
haven't finished it
DMC
yet.
games are. I mean, it's 20 missions long. Like that's
Oh,
that's
okay.
how Devil May
wow.
Cry games go.
So Dan, for all of us DMC
Yes.
plebeians, what is this game all about?
Okay, so this is technically the fifth Devil May Cry game. First four were all developed in-house by Capcom. The first game, so Devil May Cry actually started off as Resident Evil 4. And
I
then,
don't understand how that happened.
yeah, so I think they were building it out, and it was so different from the actual, like, from Resident Evil that at a certain point they were just like, well, let's just make this a whole new game. Anyway, so we're in. So this is sort of a reboot of the series by Ninja Theory. It's Ninja
They're the
Theory,
guys
right?
behind Ninja. That's the guys behind Ninja Blade, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess more importantly, they're behind Enslaved, which is a pretty good game.
Oh, I love Enslaved Odyssey to the
yeah.
West.
So same developers here.
Nice.
So right now we're looking at Mundus and his I don't know, his lady, I guess. He's a wealthy businessman guy who we will learn more about. He's got the president in his pocket. There's a really embarrassing line coming up that was actually taken out of the PS4 re-release.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I
Wait, here it comes.
What's the matter?
Yeah, so that line, which is a pretty groan-worthy line, was
There's a
they
lot of
decided
groan-worthy
when they
lines in
re-released
this
the game, they were like, let's just take that out.
There's a lot of
Didn't quite fit
groan-worthy
what we
lines
wanted.
in this game, though.
Sorry?
There's a lot of groan-worthy lines in this game.
I really like the writing in this game.
I really hate the writing in this
I
game.
like the whole lot.
Pardon his
But the thing about this though is like right now he's Mundus and whoever she is. Mundus just realized, his master plan's realized he's only one problem, which is Dante, and he's like, but the thing is, as you'll see in like the next little bit, in the next cutscene, like. Mundus doesn't have anything to worry about. Like his big, like for so far in what I played in this game, Mundus's biggest mistake was just pissing off Dante. Because if he had just left
pretty
him
much.
alone,
Dante's a selfish guy.
if he just left him alone, like he wouldn't have even bothered.
Yeah, totally. That's just how it goes. But I mean, yeah. That's how Dante is. He's a devil may care kind of guy.
Oh, okay, so that takes me, that's my biggest question.
Sure.
Devil May Cry, why?
Well, there was a
Devil
reason
May
for
Cry.
it in the
So-
original game, right?
Yes, the original game. It's Dante runs in the original game. He is like a bounty hunter of demons. He names his thing Devil May Cry. That's kind of it. That's the name of his business.
Okay.
That's kind of all there is to it.
Okay, yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I always
At
thought
the
that had
end
like a
of the
much
first
deeper
game,
meaning.
Due to dialogue, the first game has atrocious writing. Due to the events of that last game and a dialogue spoken by a specific character in that.
I wish I could be the one who fill your dark soul with light.
Right, I've heard of that. Oh god, that's how bad it is. I've heard of it.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, that's actually not the line, but that is a very bad line. The line is actually, or I don't know what the line is, but he ends up naming it "Devil Never Cry" by the end of that first game, and then that was never used ever again. Anyway, so here we have Dante being a dick, going off doing a bunch of debauchery. Dante doesn't give a shit about anything. That's sort of his character.
Oh, cool. So this is actually like an intro to like Dante, like the character itself.
Yeah.
This
So
wasn't just
is
like
a reboot.
random B-roll of the city.
It's very much
has nothing to do with the first games.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's using a lot of the concepts from the first couple games, both in its gameplay and in its story. But it's sort of like mixing it up in different ways and doing all these things. It is a separate thing for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I mean, like I don't know. I just cannot seem to get behind Dante as a character in this game. I
get that he's a pretty contentious character. Generally,
dick.
I think a lot of it's very possible to find him to be sort of petulant and annoying. It's very possible to find him kind of cool. And for what it's worth, I do think.
What was he doing last night?
I mean, he was boning ladies.
Well, I mean, the scars on his back say there was more than that, but
well, heart, a specific type of boning, let's say.
I guess he likes it rough.
Anyways, so I think for what it's worth, he is written as more of a character in this game. In the other games, he's sort of just like, check me out, I'm a cool dude. In this game, he's got a little bit more like sort of internal struggle.
I actually argue the opposite.
Oh yeah.
I to be honest, I'm going to openly admit I've played a little bit of Devil May Cry. I'm not really a big fan of like a big connoisseur of the series. But I mean, the thing about old Dante Devil May Cry is that he was cool and he had his own little flair. Here, this version is just, he's too angsty and trying to be like what a 13-year-old thinks is cool.
I can get that. I mean, the aesthetic of the Devil May Cry series has always been what a 13-year-old thinks is cool.
But except that in the old games, he actually was pretty cool.
But he, like, that's sort of the thing, is that he kind of isn't. Anyways, okay, so right now Dante is just kind of angry that they fucked up his trailer.
And
Sorry,
yeah, he
messed up his trailer. He's also naked, you'll notice.
And I love this scene though. This is really fun.
This is a really good scene.
like that CGI there when like the whole.
This is really great stuff here.
I literally love the creative censorship here.
So the other thing with Dante is that he's also really over the top in the original games, and like they actually play with that, especially. So I'm actually a big fan of these games. I've played all of them multiple times, except for Devil May Cry 2, which is a terrible game.
I keep hearing that.
Devil May Cry 4 is not great either, but in Devil May Cry 4, Dante becomes like a parody of himself pretty much. He's like over the top to the point of being kind of like just a person you don't want to be around at all. And it's pretty good. It's like pretty funny. All right, so here we have the first little bit of the game, of actual gameplay.
This is what the game's all about. Like I've heard excellent things about its combat system.
Yes, this game is very much entirely about combat. I just going in here to change some settings. I had to turn subtitles on because I realized that was bad form to have that on.
It's funny because like when I started playing this over the weekend, like the first thing I did was go to the options before I even started playing and just turn on subtitles.
Yeah. So we see we had a little bit of tutorial here. The combo system in a good Devil May Cry game, so again, not Devil May Cry 2, is really nice because it's not really about memorizing combos so much. You're not really memorizing like hit Y, then hit left and Y, then hit right and Y. What you're doing is you're doing it based on timing. So basically when you start off the game with only 2 sword combos, you basically have 4 hits in a row, and you have another combo that's like 2 hits, and then you wait a little, like you sort of wait a second, and then you hit it 3 more times. It's a really interesting combo system. It's in that it's like sort of basic. This game's not really very, in terms of the comboing, it's not very execution heavy in terms of like your button presses. It's more about sort of crowd control, I guess, and sort of knowing what your moves do pretty well.
I'm not sure if this is the right word for it, but the choreography in this game is absolutely like stunning.
Yeah, the animation and all of the design elements are like really, really great. This game's got sort of mountains above the other Devil May Cry games, has like really incredible level design. You'll start seeing even more these games, the levels will start sort of shifting around and doing these really interesting things.
I still question how those guns got exactly at that position.
Cause it's cool. Video games, Jordan.
Typical Friday night, man. Typical Friday night.
I don't know what your Friday nights are like.
Not as exciting as this, unfortunately.
So here we have some running sort of stuff, as you can see.
I really dig this, like the art style and like just the yeah. And then this sequence, like this is real.
Don't worry. Yeah, I made the same mistake.
It's definitely it definitely reminds me of Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
Yeah, I mean this game's a real looker. You know, it's a really good looking game.
Yeah,
really well animated.
Yeah, I do love the environment design on this game.
Yeah,
and I mean, as we'll probably see, like later on in the game, like there's TV shows and movies and games where they're like, we designed the environment like its own character, and I think this is probably like one of the only series where the environment basically is a character and it wants to kill you.
Definitely. We just got Dante's trademark guns, ebony and ivory. So a big part of this game also is that sort of, I remember when the first Devil May Cry game came out, sort of one of the selling points was like, most games let you only use a sword or let you shoot, but this game you can do both. I remember that being like a really big deal.
Except the guns in this game do kind of suck.
No, so the point, that's because the guns are not meant to really deal damage. The guns are sort of meant for specific enemies, and they're mostly meant to keep your combos chained together.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's like a typical game where guns are used for like long range attacks and sword more for like close combat.
Yeah, a lot of the time guns here are
so
used
much.
more to sort of close distances and like while keeping your combo going. Sometimes to somewhat immobilize characters, but it doesn't really immobilize them that much. I guess the other big thing is that if you press B in this game, you launch a character, so you just immediately pop him up into the air. So that was sort of the Devil May Cry 1 combo was you pop him in the air, you shoot him a bunch, you jump up, and you air combo them.
Yeah, like most of what I know about, like I've played a little bit of Devil May Cry, but most of what I know about Dante's like fighting style basically comes from Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean that is an accurate portrayal of that fighting style.
Don't shoot. My name is Kat. I'm not a demon.
Okay, so we'll get some stuff here about the world state here.
I'm a medium.
The entire she does this the entire game, and I swear she must look sketchy as hell to everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so there are two worlds here. There's the real world and there is Limbo. Basically, Limbo is this thing where you sort of see what is actually going on in the world, and what is actually going on in the world is like really crazy demon stuff. And Dante will occasionally get stuck in Limbo and is pretty much like, crap, I'm here again.
Yeah, well,
Kat can willingly move between the two states is her big thing.
Wait, so not everyone can see what's going on right now?
Yeah, no one actually can, kind of except for Dante.
Yeah, so basically, Limbo is like another plane of existence, and it somewhat affects the real world, but kind of not, kind of yes. And and in this game, basically, you just have to every now and then, somehow, even though they like they only explain it like half the time. Oh, he's being pulled into Limbo, and and I don't know if he just suddenly like disappears off the map when it comes to like what happens.
I think he
to him
does.
in the
I think
real
he
world.
just vanishes. But
And
Dante's
no one
this guy
seems
who
to
like,
notice?
doesn't have any relationship, so it's like no one really notices, right?
Yeah,
I'm finding a couple secrets here. I will not be doing that throughout this playthrough because I don't know where they all are.
Right. So how are you approaching this playthrough, Dan? Because I know didn't you mention you were gonna try this on hard mode?
Yes. So I am playing this on the Nephilim difficulty, which is the hard difficulty.
Which is not very hard.
It gets pretty tough. It gets it takes about halfway the game, but it gets quite difficult. It is not the most difficult. So one thing that Devil May Cry games are known for is that they're the sort of game that you play through a bunch of times because the harder difficulties don't just like make enemies take more damage or dish out more damage to you. It actually will change the composition, like the enemy composition of the level. And by that I mean it won't just give you more enemies, but it will actually change, it'll like sort of remix the encounters that you actually have. Like it will place certain enemies in new places, it will introduce harder enemies earlier on. It'll do like all of these things that make the game pretty different on multiple playthroughs and pretty rewarding if you do those multiple playthroughs. And this game I actually have not done a lot of those playthroughs, so I decided to give that a shot, and hopefully it won't be the end of me.
You didn't really do it too much, but you can actually kill those guys on that spinning thing really easily, and I love doing it.
I was going to bring that up as well, is that, sometimes you can interact with the environment.
Yeah.
All this Limbo stuff will play into the environment design a lot, in that, like, there are levels where you think you think one thing is going to happen and then the level just like moves and changes and does all this crazy stuff.
Can I just say one problem I had with this game?
Sure.
I started playing it, and I mean, it's okay, but at the same time, every orifice of this game screams, "We stole it from Bayonetta."
So that's interesting, right? Because
I know,
first
like
off,
the original guy who made Devil May Cry made Bayonetta later, right?
yeah, so that's
But
the thing.
this
Is like
game came out
Bayonetta is using a lot of concepts from Devil May Cry, and that was like what made Bayonetta great when it came out. Because Devil May Cry 4 is like it's not great, and so when Bayonetta came out, it was like, oh yeah, like this is what I wanted, and it's like a good way to sort of to further some of the concepts in the Devil May Cry games as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, this game blatantly steals a whole lot of stuff from Bayonetta, because this entire thing of Limbo, it's basically Purgatorio.
Totally.
The thing is, like my main issue with it is this, like, none of this stuff really happened in the original, and this suddenly just happens in this game, and yeah, it just happens exactly like Bayonetta. It's Bayonetta with a male protagonist.
I mean, I would disagree with that, but we're at the end of the episode.